Evening, people. Evening. Bloody hell. 13 minutes late. It's not bad. It was a lot worse on Sunday. I have to apologize for Sunday. It wasn't my fault. I was supposed to come on. Believe you me, I was sat here at 10:29. I was sat here 5 to 10. 5 to 10. It was supposed to be me and Avi on Sunday. And then he said, I forgot. He thought we're not going to go because Ben had an emergency. He couldn't come. And then I said, look, no, it's fine. Me and you will come. And then I was here 5 to 10, 5 minutes early. Avi thought we're not here. He goes, I need 20 minutes. I'm in the bog. I'm doing this. Actually, I think he was dyeing his beard at the time. So I said, okay, fine. We'll just rearrange till 10:30. All those messages that would come in at 5 to 10, 5 past 10, quarter past 10. It was all me sat in this chair. And then 10:29, my little one woke up. And I had to, because my missus wasn't at home. And then me and my son watched Avi go at it alone. So I apologize. I would have loved to come on the show. But a big up to all the chat who kept Avi company on Sunday night, as ever, supporting the channel and being engaging as possible. So it's the international break. I thought we'd come on, have a chat. I need some therapy. I'm sure all you guys do as well. So there's been a lot of rolla in the Liverpool space, whether it's on your WhatsApp threads, whether it's on your Twitter. There's been a lot of a well-needed break. Yes, 100% well-needed break. But you know what? Hussein, sometimes I can't sit on this 3 losses for the next 2 weeks. Honestly, I can't sit on it. And maybe this is the reason why I've just jumped on. I thought, let's get alive with Asim. It's a made-up show. Get on, talk to you guys, because I need some therapy as well. But let's talk about what the problems are, what the solutions are. Are there any solutions? Is it more of a structural problem? Is it down to personnel? Can we improve? Will we have to wait till January? All these are questions we must answer, we must discuss. And I thought, you know what? Let's give you guys a chance. It's not a call-in show, which I promise we will do at some point this week. But it's a halfway measure where I'm here. I'm going to give you my thoughts. But I also want your questions. I will take any question you want, whether it's a tactical question, whether it's just a standard Liverpool question. As long as it's Liverpool and it's football related, doesn't have to be Liverpool today. It can be anything. But let's stick to the Reds because we need to sort this out together. So give me your questions. I'm going to take them one by one. I'll start them. But I want to talk to you about what I've been talking about for a while now. I jog your memories back in the first game I saw Preston, which I got a really good view of, thankfully, on that day, because as you guys know, I was the preseason games are a lot easier to get access. I would love to get access. Why? Is because I want to sit in that. And people think, you're just chatting shit. You think you've got a big head. You can ask Arnie Slot questions. I want to ask them questions. If I get embarrassed, then so be it. But I feel like that I want to sit there and ask these sort of questions because I feel like sometimes these questions don't get asked one reason or another. And I would love, that's my dream, to get access on a weekly basis so I can ask these questions as to why, and because I want the answers, and but you'll have to do with me and say, oh, look who's here. Anjay. I won't tell you where he is, but he's somewhere in the caves abroad on the borders or so. Gene is back in the house tomorrow. That link and thumbnail has been ordered. And him and Avi at the moment are live on that show. So a lot of you have been missing Gene. A lot of you have been missing. You know what? He chose a week, didn't he? He bloody chose a week. Gene would have become a TikTok internet sensation now this week. We needed him. But you'll have his thoughts tomorrow, I'm sure. But big up to Gene, and hopefully safe travels tomorrow when you're back. I got access to a tactics board literally, and that's the reason why I was late. But I need to sort this out because there's, if I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna keep your questions coming, people. Yeah, I'm gonna. The problem is them is the manager and his absolute waffle and Bakwas tactics. Wow, strong words from total eclipse. Let's talk about the Chelsea game. That's the most recent, isn't it? And I was talking about the Preston game. When I had that view, I straight away realized that Liverpool are taking a few more risks than last year. We were never going to replace a unicorn of a player in Trent Alexander-Arnold. His passing qualities, his build-up qualities, his technical qualities. There was a lot of talk, oh, is he good enough to play in midfield? But regardless of that debate, that no one can deny that he was unbelievable on the ball and still is. And I believe that 50% of our build-up qualities have gone, and they are the root cause of our in a sort of ability to break down a team when they slightly sit off us. Even if it's an aggressive press, we can't play it through them. And if they sit off, we don't have enough quality to give the likes of Florian Wirtz and Mohamed Salah and the likes of Isak as well further up the pitch. I just think that is the root cause of what's causing Liverpool a big of a headache. I believe, generally speaking, the problems on the ball are due to the personnel. The personnel off the ball, I believe, is structural, and those can be tweaked, and we'll talk about it later on as well. So literally, I got access to a tactics board. I think it's the GLA tactics board. A really kind friend has given me his logins. As you can see, what the hell was he doing with Ramsey and Gordon? This is not my team. Please don't someone. I've got Doak up front, Salah in midfield. Let me change this. I need to wait on. Let me get back in, and then we'll start changing the team as to what we saw in the Chelsea game. So, rightio. Can everyone see that? Please confirm in the chat before I keep waffling. Yes? No? I'm looking at my phone because I can't see the screen, people. Yes. All right. Okay. Let's carry on. So let's get these out. Dijk. Who the hell is Dijk? I hope he's got a Van Dijk there somewhere. There it is. So Ramsey out. We put Bradley in because he started the game. Van Dijk that way. Keeper don't really matter, but we'll put him in. Left back Kirkes. I don't know why he's in blue, but don't ask me to change it. Salah wide. Chiesa, who you all want in the team, but in the meantime, he can sit on the bench. Endo, we will talk about that sub later on. Gakpo, Dork, bloody hell. Where's Isak? Bench. Where the hell is Isak? Ekitike, Bajetic. Well, there we are. No wonder we can't get 3 points. We don't even have a bloody Isak in this team. I can't even see him. Can anyone see Isak in this team? Bench. Isak. What sort of app is this, man? Come on. Absolutely ridiculous. Right, let me add custom player. Forward. Isak. There we are. You can tell I've not used this before. There we are. The big summer signing is in the house. Oh, there it is. Oh, God. There. Actually, no, I still need a midfielder, don't I? Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and McAllister. Forget Isak. He can go back to the bench. So that was our midfield. There we are. 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. I don't know why he's called Alistair. What the hell is this, man? I don't know if I can change it. Well, you know who it is. That's fine. I need to keep an eye out on the chat on my phone. Okay. Here we are, people. That was the team. Gakpo, Isak, Szoboszlai, and Bradley. So let's talk about the build-up issues that Liverpool are having, because this is the Liverpool build-up at the moment. So Kirkes is here. Bradley goes here. We do build up in a 3-3, depending who it is. Bradley sometimes comes here. Bradley sometimes goes top of the box as well. If Salah comes deeper, then Bradley he's here. This sort of thing is done more with Frimpong playing at right back. This sort of thing, Bradley here playing in these channels, is done more with Conor Bradley. So Kanate comes across. Van Dijk is here. We've explained this before. McAllister here. That is Liverpool's build-up, generally speaking. And this where Liverpool are struggling at the moment badly. Whether Bradley sits in a 4-2 build-up, whether he comes in a 3-3, or whether it's a 3-2-5 starting in the phase one. The manager said, this player is receiving a lot of the ball. Ibu Kanate is receiving the ball a lot. Let's try add an arrow in. Can he find that pass to Gravenberch? Can he find that pass to McAllister? Or even that pass to Salah if Salah is wider? And at the moment, he can't find it. And teams are setting off us. When we progress the attack, I need to keep looking at this chart just in case I keep waffling, and that's on my phone because I'm just looking at this field at the moment. So that is what Liverpool's problem is. The manager said it, and the problem is I've said, when you let me just quickly get rid of that. Move Bradley here. 3 out of our 4 players in the back line, generally speaking, calling a spade, cannot pass a ball on a consistent basis, and to really be considered as a really technical team in the back line who can manipulate the ball and progress the ball from a standing point. And these 2 players in Kirkes and Bradley are action type of fullbacks where they need to be ahead of the ball, and the ball's coming from Van Dijk, the ball's coming from this right-sided player. They're connecting with this midfielder and getting that sort of triangles, give and go. I call the Kirkes a give and go type of fullback. That is the type of fullback he is. Fullback fullbacks we have. Even if you put Robertson, who has shown some decent quality on the ball, you wouldn't say he's a technical type of left back where he can stay and get involved in the build up and then go and be the 5th or the 6th attacker. These are some massive issues that we have to fix. And this is the reason why I'm really concerned about why I'm calling it a personnel issue. How do you expect Bradley and Kirkes to be better in build-up? How do you expect it? Because a lot of people are saying, okay, we'll just split the centre-backs, Van Dijk and Kanate, and we'll put Gravenberch here. Okay, that works against a prolonged attack where you've got, if you want to have the Szoboszlai here, and you still want to have the 3-2 build-up, the security and stability in a build-up, where you've got 2 attackers. I'm not even going to try to put 2 of the attackers, but you know the concept. There's my cursor. You've got, for example, Odegaard and Gyökeres pressing in a 4-4-2 shape. And we've still got a 3+2 in the back line. You've got Gravenberch. That works against aggressive presses. But Liverpool, especially at Anfield, 8 out of 10 times, you don't need Gravenberch to be picking up the ball. That is, generally speaking, the managers and coaches all over the world, they generally use it when the attacking the opposition are being aggressive, and you're asking the midfielder to track. There's my cursor. Let's say Caicedo is on Gravenberch, or Enzo is on Gravenberch, are you going to follow him there and vacate central space? If you're not, then we've got the 3-2 plus a 3+2 in the back line. So that is, I'm just going to put the ball there. I'm learning as I go. This is practically the first time I'm using this system. So, but what if if teams are sitting off the halfway line, then you can't expect Gravenberch to split the centre backs all the time. That just doesn't work against opposition that just going to sit off in a 4-4-2 mid block, or generally speaking a 5-4-1 a low block. You get the idea. It only works against aggressive presses. So yeah, it works at times, and I think Gravenberch has shown the maturity when to split the centre backs. We saw it against Arsenal. We saw it against Newcastle. We saw it against even Crystal Palace as well, where he does split the centre backs and it allows Kerkez here. And sometimes, if it's not Gravenberch, he stays there. Bradley is higher, Kerkez is higher, and McAllister comes in this sort of position. I call it the Tony Cruz position, and Gravenberch is there. And Szoboszlai either comes from the number 10 position, and that is one way of having an extra footballer in the build-up. But we've talked about that before, because this isn't, it is fine and it works. But McAllister, if we lose the ball, I do want McAllister, even if you push it up here, Szoboszlai attacks here. Do you want McAllister in the last line? Do you want McAllister in the last line? And at times, with the freedom of Gravenberch, he wants to go, because we don't have traditionally a disciplined number 6. So at times, in natural fluidity, it works and it gets Kerkez further up the pitch. I understand it. But I prefer, if I'm not going to lie to you, I prefer Curtis Jones doing this sort of thing. Although McAllister has a better pass from there in breaking the lines, I think overall I would prefer Curtis Jones to come here, to do the double pivot stuff, to hold the line up here, which allows Gakpo to come inside. And if Kerkez is here, and you've got that, or you can have Curtis in the 10, Kerkez holding width, and Gakpo. It creates a better dynamic, and this is one of the biggest reasons why Florian, where's Wirtz? There we are. Florian Wirtz. I'm just going to bring Florian Wirtz into. Actually, I will leave Wirtz for the time being. We'll stick with the Chelsea game. That is the biggest issue that Liverpool have at the have on the ball. I'm just quickly looking at your questions and starring them as I go along. So let me just quickly try to. Too many runners. I would prefer Jones over Szoboszlai. I don't know. I don't know why you'd want Szoboszlai. I think Szoboszlai has been one of our best players. And this is the reason why I keep on talking about it. That I think the manager and the coaching staff and the recruitment team have underestimated the lack of technical quality and the lack of footballing quality in our defensive line, is because these guys have not had enough the ball. And one thing you can blame the manager is giving Gravenberch a bit more freedom this year, but he's explained it as how Liverpool are getting pressed at the back end of the last season and this season as well. So it's a bit down to that, where natural fluidity is coming, where you've seen Szoboszlai here, Gravenberch here, and then Florian Wirtz floating around in the pockets as well. So that's why you've seen that natural fluidity. But I also think it's down to the fact that I think Szoboszlai is a better passer than Gravenberch. Gravenberch is used more of a carrier. Even when Gravenberch plays in the single pivot or double pivot position, how does he progress the ball? We even seen it in the second half from here in Chelsea and here, where he'll drop a shoulder and he'll carry the ball. He's not a guy who receives it and he breaks lines and plays passes into here and over to the left winger in Gakpo in this case. He's not that type of guy. People want a Zubamendi, people want Underwater, and I do want that type of player, because I do think Liverpool do miss that. And I've always said, whenever I've heaped praise on Ryan Gravenberch, I've always said that he is a wonderful footballer and revolutionizing the number 6 position and making it his own. But if he has a weakness, that is the weakness, playing passes into midfield. I won't try to get too complicated because I might mess it up. Love this digital board, Asim. Thank you so much. It's the JLA board. Someone's signed up to it and said to me that, feel free to use it. So big up to my friend who uses it and it's given me his logins. Some people saying Gravenberch is a number 8. Gravenberch, and we've just talked about Gravenberch's qualities, and this is the reason why, because he wants to take advantage of Szoboszlai's passing, because we don't have that Zubimendi or Adam Wharton type of guy. We've just talked about Gravenberch's carrying ability. So when you're facing really low blocks and you've got the 2 number 10s, and I'll just quickly move it instead of Wirtz here, which we've generally seen here, and you're facing a low block, this is because we've used the 3-1-6 structure as well. So Salah is a bit narrower and we've got Bradley really high. So that is the 3-1-6, and we're further up the pitch as well. So if you've got that, this is the pass that we want Dominic Szoboszlai to make. And I checked it in the Liverpool team. Dominic Szoboszlai is number 1 or number 2. I think he's number 1 for progressive passes. So he can play that ball into Wirtz and Gravenberch when we're faced with a 5-4-1. Because what do we want to do is we want to create an overload in this area of the pitch where you've got 6 attackers against a 5-4-1. So there's an overload in the back line, and that's what we want to create. And going back to Ryan Gravenberch, if we place that ball from Szoboszlai to Ryan Gravenberch, then we've got, I'm going to come out with another tactical term, his ability to turn on the half turn in zone 14. This is the zone 14 here, is around here, outside the box. Zone 14. So if you can get Gravenberch to drop a shoulder in that area, then he's driving into the box, he's connecting with the number 9, and that is his one of the best quality. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like Gravenberch receiving and splitting the centre backs here, especially against the low block. He's wasted. He's wasted. He is not like a Rodri type of player. So why are you trying to make him, become a Rodri or a Zubimendi? He's not that player. And to his credit, he has split the centre backs when needs, when the needs are there, and that maturity or IQ when to do it and when not to do it. I think he's been doing it really well, and obviously there's improvements for his development, but he's only young and he's still learning that role 12 months or just over 12 months in. So this is the reason why I don't like Gravenberch, and I don't think this is a consistent structure. One of the reasons why I think when we did the team with myself, Avi and Ben, is when we tried to predict the team for the Chelsea game, we all had 3 different teams. And the reason why we had 3 different teams is, let's call a spade, is because we don't have fullbacks to be, at the moment in this system that we're playing in, they are not the types of fullbacks that are going to be used week in, week out. And what I mean by that is if you're facing a low block and you need a 6th attacker and you need Bradley to make these sort of runs and then go on the overlap as well and make sure Salah is pinning. If you, for example, faced with a 5-4-1, you want Kirkes really high as well, and Bradley is in these channels, then you use them. Then you use Bradley in these sort of situations. But if you've got a really aggressive press, a Chelsea, a Arsenal, who are really going to go at us, and that's what the manager has been talking about. I've been talking about it for a while, that Liverpool have been faced with a different situation in the last, the back end of last season and the start of this season. The manager mentioned it officially last week that he knows about it, and that's what's most concerning. The damning point is, if you've known about this situation, then one, the mistakes have been made in the summer in terms of profiling some of these fullbacks, and not making sure that we have the security in the back line to make sure we've got the players like Wirtz and Salah and the number 6 getting connected by the back line. And that is one of the reasons why I think Dominic Szoboszlai has found himself here. Yes, Bradley has been injured. Yes, Frimpong has been injured. But I think the manager has realized that the technical level goes up with Szoboszlai. If you're faced with an Arsenal or a Chelsea that are a bit more aggressive, especially in a 4-4-2, a man-to-man press, you do need the ability to connect with the 6, and you need that ball to Salah. And I feel like he is a hybrid. I've talked about it a long time, and that is one of the reasons why. And I don't believe Szoboszlai is getting shoehorned into the team. I believe Dominic Szoboszlai has played in the right back position more than expected, is because the lack of quality on the ball quality in Bradley and Frimpong. If Bradley and Frimpong were good enough to play week in, week out against every opposition and provide the needs for a low block, provide the needs for an aggressive press, when they fit, they would play here every single week. But the problem that Liverpool are also having is the ability and the fitness and the form of this lad here. We absolutely loved him last year, but he is just not playing well enough. That is the big problem. And that's another reason why Dominic Szoboszlai has been found in the left-sided midfield role. So it is a big concern. Let me just cancel everything. And the reason why, and I've talked about the problems. We all know the problems. Off the ball, I've talked about the 4-2-4 for 12 months now. And people are saying, one of the questions is that it's a trade-off. Oh, no. I've just lost my battery on the mouse. So I'm just going to quickly let that charge. Give me 1 minute, guys. Let this charge. People, I'm just going to quickly go up and see if any questions. Do you think Nayoni is our best progressive passer? Ooh, he is a progressor. I give him that, but I just feel like somebody that he just doesn't have the physicality. He just needs to fill up, unfortunately, and that is the big problem. I like the player. I like him in those positions. And there's a game this season he played in the number 10 position, didn't he? And then when he came deeper, he just looked a lot better player. And he can carry a ball, but he can progress a ball from a standing point. And when I saw Liverpool, the first time within 10 minutes, I saw what they're trying to do, what the plan is in pre-season, where they were committing too many people to really, and even when Liverpool in the first half were creating a few options where Salah was coming on the touchline, Bradley was coming on the making that underlapping run in the channel. It was committing too many players, and the moment Liverpool lose it, the rest defense wasn't great. That is what Liverpool are missing. And I said even on Sunday that Liverpool forgot to replace Trent. I have to hold my hands up as well and said, look, Liverpool have replaced him with the whole of Leverkusen's right hand side, but I am not so sure about the quality of Jeremy Frimpong and Conor Bradley to be Liverpool's right back week in, week out. And I'll show you some of the solutions that I think might be available to the manager. But the problem is those solutions are not bulletproof as well, mainly because of the fitness and the lack of depth in the defensive area that Liverpool have got at the moment. Let me just try to scroll up. 325. Ash says push Kirkes high, Gravenberch in between centre backs. I've just explained that, Ash. Yes, it works, but what you're gonna do when you're faced with aggressive when you're faced with a low block? Are you really gonna have Gravenberch from a centre back position against a low block? Can you see the natural traits of him staying there? Yeah. How much are you going to coach that? Do you really want to see Gravenberch in the last line because of his brilliant, unbelievable quality to drop a shoulder and break lines through his carrying ability and go into the box. I just can't see it. I really can't. I like the Gravenberch of last year, where it was a lot more disciplined to compare to this year. This year's got a few more goals. Yeah, and that might have been the idea, but I think Liverpool have just seen a few too many rotations this year, and that's where the PSG side of the PSG obsession has come into it. It's a bit down to the fact that Liverpool have been pressed in a man-to-man across the midfield. Is trying to disrupt the opposition, but I feel like there was a lot more discipline to Ryan Gravenberch, where he was mopping up a lot more last season, and I liked it. I really do, and I think that foundation would benefit someone like Wirtz a lot more. So generally, yeah, I do like Gravenberch, and I think he's good at it, Ash, where he splits the centre back and it allows one of the, or sometimes both the fullbacks to get higher. But I just don't see it. I really don't see it as a long-term option. Where am I looking? Gravenberch and Szoboszlai cannot be dropped at all, but they have to sit at the base and help break up play and protect at the back line. And yeah, that's what I was just touching on. Total Eclipse, that I preferred Gravenberch a lot more. But the problem that you have is when you're facing, and let me see if I've got any battery in my mouse. Let's say we're facing a low block, then here we are. He still likes to build up in the 3-2, even if it's a low block. You've got Szoboszlai playing here, Gravenberch here, you've got Wirtz here. He doesn't like, especially if it's a team that really sitting off in the second phase of play, he prefers Szoboszlai coming here, Wirtz here, Bradley here. That's what he likes. It's the 3-1-6. It's here. And we use this a lot, transitioning from a 4-3-3 to a 3-1-6. And that's what you're going to find. So does Dominic Szoboszlai has to be receiving in the pocket. Gakpo should be here, holding with Isak here. So that is the problem. How do Liverpool create stability in the back line? Let's go through a few options. At the moment, we're generally doing it like this. Konate was supposed to be on the right and Verge here. How do Liverpool create the default security in the back line where it gets the best out of some players? At the moment, if it's McAllister instead of Szoboszlai, it doesn't really matter. That is the way. There's the ball. Konate's got the ball. That is the way we'll put Bradley here. Wirtz, half spaces, coming here, coming everywhere. So that is one way of doing it. And then if you want to create the box midfield, the facilitator, Jota played that role. Even Nunes picked up the ball from here many times. Chiesa has seen it, done it many times. And even Luis Diaz coming off the touchline. And if the Robbo meant higher as well. How do you create that box? There is so many ways. So you've got the 3-2 stability in the back line when the Konate or anyone else has got the ball. But you've also got, here, let me try to show off a bit. Here we are. Let's try to show off. Am I showing off? Can I do it? Way! Look at that, guys. Look at that. The box midfield. Come on. You must smash a like just for that. This is the first time. This is the first time I'm doing it. Whoever gives me a round of applause on the chat gets a shout out. Husnain, Angie. So how do you create? Oh my God, how do you get out of this? Look at this. How do you create the box? That is the box that you've. So you got overloads in the back line. You've got central overloads with the box midfield. You can have your number 9 come in here and be the facilitator that Arnie Slot has been talking about last year a lot. Let me just get rid of that and talk about how do you create that in many other ways. Bloody hell. Let me get off that. There we are. So if the number 9 stays there, Salah wide, you've got Gravenberch from the 6th position, Soboslai from the left-sided midfielder position. How do you create the box? Soboslai receiving in the number 10 position, and Bradley comes in and inverts. And this is another reason why I don't like Bradley doing this. Look, he's a decent footballer. He's a good squad player. But can he do this? I just don't think he can. I don't think he can. And this is another reason why Soboslai has been doing this as well. I think there was one game against Newcastle where it was really, really aggressive. And Soboslai was coming here. Obviously, Gravenberch would move outside the box just to get, I can't remember who their left winger, Anthony Gordon, I think it was. But with Newcastle press, it was their left back. I can't remember who their left back was on the day. So they would go at fullback to fullback. Newcastle's fullback would go on Soboslai. Soboslai would be coming here and asking Newcastle, saying, is your left back going to follow me in these areas? We don't think he is. And if he isn't, then we've got the security of Soboslai and our right back creating an extra man in the build-up. And it gave us some stability, even though, when they went down to 10 men, we just couldn't handle their physicality and their throw-ins and set pieces in general. So that is another way of your right back coming into midfield, your pivot moving across, and you create that thingy. There we are. There, that's another way of creating the box. You can do it on the other side as well. So where Kirkes would come in, Bradley stays higher, Wirtz comes in. Gravenberch stays there, and that is another way of creating the box. And Bradley, and how many times did we see this last season? Where not as much as the other side, where Trent would come here, but we did see Robertson here again. Can we do this? Would it mean Kirkes receiving in midfield areas? Has he got the ball manipulation? Has he got the body position? We've been talking about Kirkes' body position here from the left back, where he can't play the ball down the channel to Gakpo. There's been so many heat maps showing the lack of passes that's coming down. That is because of his close body position when he's receiving from someone like Van Dijk, generally speaking. Or can he connect with Gravenberch, who's sitting here, or even the second double pivot in Szoboszlai? So can he do that? I just don't think he can. He's not a Mendes. But the other problem where I think Liverpool would have a lot more stability in the back line is bringing in someone like Joe Gomez. And I know what you guys are going to say, that how can we play our 3 centre-backs at one given time? But I'm only mentioning it is in theory. Let's say we have that. I think this defense is a lot better. Why? Because I think Gomez can give us a lot more general stability and security in the back line. If Kirkes, it'll allow Kirkes to start higher. And we know, and everyone's been talking about, by the way, I don't even know why Kirkes is in blue. Alisson Becker's in blue, and Mamad Shavili is in blue as well, but who cares? I think we've been talking about what the type of player that Kirkes was. He was starting here, and that is what we sort of made us fall in love with the player. So that is, I think, and I know that chat is going to go berserk saying, why are you doing that? It would probably mean Van Dijk needed to go on the touch line. Do you really want him to do that at this age? It does bring some sort of deficiencies. I get that. But I think Liverpool would have a lot more security if you've got Szoboszlai. This is my midfield, by the way, at the moment. Dominic Szoboszlai. If Gomez is the right back, and I don't want Gomez to be the right back every single week. One is because I don't think it works. Two, I don't think it works because we don't need him probably against a low block. I would prefer Frimpong and Bradley to be in the team. But when we've got Man City to come, we've got Arsenal to come, and we've got a lot of big European aways to come as well, I think this should be looked at. And we shouldn't always just think, okay, We've got three centre backs. One of them is going to get injured. But that's why I'm saying we shouldn't use this week in, week out. But it's something that the manager, I think, should look at. And I do believe that, it's got the fluidity that the manager likes as well. So if you've got Kanate here, if you've got Van Dijk here, you've got Kirkes still being here, you can have and allow Szoboszlai to be in the number 10 position. And how many times do we see Gomez play the inverted role? And I thought he played it quite well. And he had a decent ball manipulation here. Yes, it's not perfect, but he has played it. He has played it. He's obviously not John Stones type of centre back where he comes from here. But I do think Joe Gomez, whether he comes from the left back, and he's also played this even under Jurgen Klopp last year, 2 years ago. He played the inverted left back role as well, and I thought he played it quite well. I don't like him, and quite a few asked you, because you work from a starting place from the number 6. That's a completely different role. Joe Gomez is okay being the spare man coming from here or coming from here. Standing place, you need to be a Ryan Gravenberch. You need to be a Zubamendi. You need to be Vitinha. That is the type of level that you need to be if you're going to be receiving from a starting position in the number 6 role. So I think this provides us the security in that even if you build up in a 4-2, Liverpool have got, if teams really get aggressive with us, Liverpool have got 6 players who are physical, who've got the ball manipulation, and then they've got the security of double pivot as well in Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai. And then it also gives Florian Wirtz the license to roam around. And he is naturally going to do that because he is not a James Maddison type of player. But against aggressive presses, he will come here and be the extra man as well. If the centre-back wants to come here and track Wirtz, then we've got a 3v3, Gakpo, Salah, and Isak here. And then we've got a ping from, Virgil van Dijk or the keeper as well. And that is one of the things Liverpool tried to do to Chelsea. And as bad as he is, I'll be honest with you, Sanchez, in terms of shot stopping and in terms of him making a mistake, Sanchez, I thought his distribution, in those important moments for Chelsea was really, really good. And that's one of the reasons why Bradley, I believe he's a right back that is easy to get isolation against, even before the yellow card, where he played with his head a bit and he didn't know what to do, stick or twist. But I think the distribution from Sanchez to Garnacho was really, really good. And the reason why I'm talking about that is if teams get really aggressive, you've got that ball coming over from the keeper, you bypass all those players, and you've got a 3-3 situation. At times, we were having Isak in these sort of positions, and at times it was 2v2. And I took a screenshot of it. I'll probably share it on Twitter later on, and we still couldn't take advantage of that as well. And one of the reasons why is because I thought the distribution wasn't great as well. And when you've got Gakpo and Salah out of form, they have to take that blame as well. That is a good point, Hussein. Having Gomez does not help Salah. I get that point. But that is the reason why I don't want Gomez to be in that position, Hussein, on a weekly basis. I want it to be on the big occasion where sometimes you have to sacrifice, the license and the freedom of even your big players. How many times have you seen Saka at right back? How many times have you seen Luis Diaz last season in left back positions? And this is what probably leads me to Liverpool's 4-2-4 structure as well. And people are saying don't you think Slot knows about this? There's a risk reward about it. It's a trade-off. I get that. But if you don't have any security here in your build-up, and Liverpool are not creating the chances that they were creating for Salah, forwards, and never mind chances, just the ball. I think there's probably one game where we got Salah involved in this season, like properly, and we probably saw the sort of Salah that we saw last season, where he was involved, where he was coming here and getting involved in the third man runs of Conor Bradley. I think it was Frimpong that day, wasn't it? I think it was Frimpong. But the point stands, it was Salah getting involved. But I just think teams have kind of worked out Liverpool. Drop off, let Kanate have the ball, let Bradley have the ball, and see where they are. And the moment them two get the ball in certain areas, and those players are jumping and teams are transitioning into a man-to-man press, which is forcing Isak in these positions, which is forcing Wirtz in these positions, and we just still can't find the spare man. And at times, yeah, Liverpool have worked it around, but it's not on a consistent basis. We're still a really, really good team. We still will pass it around an aggressive press. We will get out. We beat, Newcastle. We beat Arsenal at home. But we have to look at the consistency in Liverpool at the moment. The lack of technical quality is really, really harming us. And people are saying, look, why are you not blaming Wirtz? Why are you not blaming Salah? Let me just get that sorted again. The reason why I'm not, look, Salah has been shite. Wirtz has been below par. If you want me to say shite, I'll say shite. Gakpo has been shite. But I believe the root causes for Liverpool at the moment, for a possession-based team, is that's what it is. We can't get these four involved enough. Wirtz, Salah, Isak, and Gakpo, or anyone else on the left-hand side as well. Some people have suggested getting rid of Salah because he's not performing well and playing an extra midfielder. And I've seen so many teams this season. Ash, I'll come to your super chat, brother. I'm just on the main screen. I'll take a break and I'll go through some chats and super chats as well. I've seen this one where let's take Gakpo out and Ekitike. I've seen this as well this week where we're playing a bit of a diamond. Gravenberch, Soboslai was here, Callister was here. Yeah, here we are. Okay, there. What do you guys think of this? Let's have Bradley here. Do you guys like this? I'm gonna Salah and Gakpo need to be dropped. Wow. What do you guys think of this team? You've got the three midfielders of last year. You've got Florian Wirtz in his favorite position. He can be the focal attack. You've got two big men up front. Then what's going to be our build-up? What is it going to be? I would like to see that. Okay. So I'm going to see how this would work, generally speaking. Obviously, there is fluidity amongst any structure. How would it look? I think this is how it would look. Bradley would be high because you need width. Soboslai is here. McAllister would come here. Kirkes, you need him high, don't you? This is how it would be. And even if you have Bradley here in the first phase, it's more of a Jurgen Klopp. The 2-2-6, the 2-3-5. You can have Bradley here. Trent was his, player in the midfield here in the right half space. He would come here or go here as well. So in that sense, it's got some similarities to the 2-3-5 of Jurgen Klopp or the 2-2-6. I know we've got two strikers on paper here as well, but that would be here we'd have Salah, Bobby, and Mane. And then we've got one attacking midfielder here, Henderson, on that as well. So that would be the setup here. So Bradley here, and you can switch it around as well. You can have Kirkes being the sixth attacker as well. And then Bradley here wide as well. That would be the 2-2-6 of Arne Slot. It's fine. It's fine. But the reason why I don't particularly like it It's Gravenberch and McAllister. McAllister in particular, can he do a Gini Wijnaldum role? Because Kirkes would start here a lot of the time and be here a lot of the time. Because Wirtz is going to be occupying the left half space, and you want Ekitike to be here as well. So who's going to do the width work? It's Kirkes, because McAllister is not going to do it. We've seen McAllister. He wants to occupy these sort of places, and these sort of places. He's not going to do that. I've talked about the dynamic of Kirkes, Wirtz, and here, because Kirkes and Wirtz and McAllister want to be here. Kirkes is the only guy who's on a general basis, consistent basis, going to hold width. So that is the only problem. McAllister doesn't have the legs to sweep up. That is the only problem. I don't think Mac has the energy of Prime Virginia. There you go, drunk. So I'm trying to pick up deficiencies in this. The other deficiency in this, let me just go back to this default. McAllister on the diamond, on the tip. There we are. So if you have Bradley higher, again, McAllister has to do all that area. Wirtz, if you've got him at the tip of the diamond, then he's generally going to be here. All these half spaces. Ekitike is going to do a bit of that. I get that, but if you've got two up front, you want the fullbacks to provide for them. No, that's the idea, isn't it? Robertson and Trent type of concept. That is the only problem. The other problem is you've got two strikers already, so they're going to be pressing from the front. Okay, and we know that generally speaking, the best off the ball structure in settled play is the 4-4-2. Even if you say it's the 4-4-2-4, and we're sticking with that, who's going to be pressing as the number 10 in here? Ekitike is, because he's on paper. Isak is the 9. Ekitike on paper, in the terms of the pressing structure, he's not going to go into the number 10 position. He's not going to go out wide. It's just too complicated. So he's going to stay there off the ball as well, and rightly so. So who's going to play the left wing role off the ball? Is Wirtz going to come here? Szoboszlai here? So that would be our structure. So Wirtz would come here in the number 10 position off the ball. Do you like that? Tell me. Do you like that? Wirtz coming here in these positions, being that left back in positions as well. I agree with Drunk. We are mixing. Okay, I'm just trying to read. Swap Gravenberch and McAllister. So at least McAllister has Sobo closer to him. So who do you want me to swap? I don't think. Where's Ash? Swap Gravenberch and Mac. Gravenberch and Mac. Okay, but it's the same principle, isn't it? Okay, I get what you're saying, Ash. Gravenberch has got more legs. He can do a bit of that. But that player, if Wirtz is the number 10 in the diamond, and you got the two strikers, where's Szoboszlai going here? On paper, it's going to be that, isn't it? There we are. So I just think you need a Gini Wijnaldum, unless you play McAllister at the tip and then Gravenberch here. Well, then we know the deficiency of McAllister, where if he's receiving in a single pivot role, where he's not a Gravenberch, he's not press resistant, and that's one of the reasons why Gravenberch got in the team ahead of him as well. The other it would mean if it's directly from a diamond. Let's go back to that. McAllister is occupying these sort of places. We know he's not comfortable off the ball. Are you going to go there? Are you going to do that? That don't work as well, because we don't want McAllister there, for God's sake. You can get probably away with it like this because Wirtz has played on paper on the 4-3-3 on paper, with Germany and even what do you call them? Bayern Leverkusen. But the problem Wirtz has is, their 3-4-3 transitions in from him being the number 10, and he's got Mr. Grimaldo doing all the defending, and then they just transition into a 5-4-1. So he's got a lot more protection in a back five rather than a back four. So he doesn't need to be in these sort of positions because you've got Nkapie, for example, as a left-sided centre back, and then Grimaldo tucking in as the fullback. So these are the deficiencies we have to see when we do some teams on this platform or on Twitter or wherever we're building a lineup. We can't just try to play FIFA, people. We can't play FIFA, and I feel like some fans have been playing FIFA this week, where I'm seeing all sorts of players in all sorts of formations. We have to see how we press as a team, how we line up in possession and out of possession, and does it work? That is the problem that Liverpool have at the moment. Okay, so Ash now is saying, okay, let me go out of this. Let me see what's happening in the world of proper StreamYard. There we are. Let's remove that. Whew. How long have we been going for? 55 minutes. Too much FIFA. I think I need a rest. Give me 2 minutes, people. Let me just scroll up. 44 deals lost with Chelsea. Look, 100%. And I've said it many, many times, buddy. It doesn't matter what formation you're playing, doesn't matter what's out of or in possession structure you're using on that particular day. If you lose your battles all over the pitch, you're going to concede chances and goals. So 100%. Put Sobo right back for Bradley and put Jones in. Okay, that works. That works then, Ash, because then he can play that. I'm not going to try to compare him to Gini Wijnaldum. What about the subs? What about the subs? Let me go to, there was some super chats as well. Ash, big up Ash, always supporting, always not complaining, engaging. Fullbacks ain't the only issue, Asim. Ibu needs a third man as he can't play out 100%. No Trent anymore. With just Verge, I'd use Grav deeper. Yeah, I went through this, didn't I? I see where you're coming from, Ash. But the problem with Ryan Gravenberch is, one, his natural discipline. We're talking about his discipline in midfield at the moment. What about then his discipline being as the third centre back? I feel like you're taking too much away from Gravenberch. And that is the reason why we've seen it, but we've not seen it crazily on a consistent basis. Why? Because at the moment his go-to option, and this is what I said, the damning situation is, and it's a reflection of Liverpool's lack of technical ability in the back line, that after 55 minutes the manager is making a change where it consists of Ryan Gravenberch going from midfield into a centre back position. Yes, I get it that Kanate was facing he had a little niggle and he was probably going to come off anyway, but the manager admitted that he was in that sort of thought process already. And you go have a look at the 55th minute, it meant him doing a Ryan Gravenberch, dropping the shoulder in a centre back position and coming out with the ball and connecting with Curtis Jones. Most of our attacks after the 55th minute, it was coming through Ryan Gravenberch beating that first line of press by dropping a shoulder and coming into midfield. And that is brilliant play, but it's also risky as well. You want security. You want your centre back to have that ability to play the ball from a standing position, having to drop a shoulder. So yes, we don't expect the centre back to be Ryan Gravenberch, but we expect him to be for Liverpool, especially if you've just got Van Dijk playing the ball into midfield or over the press. You need to be fluid, and that's what I believe, that Liverpool have become really predictable on the ball. So what is this, Ash? In regards to, could Jones do it then, Asim? Is this with the diamond? Is it with the diamond? So let's have Soboslai at right back. Did you say Soboslai at right back? And we're bringing in Where's Mr. Jones? So who are you going to have at the base? I don't know why you're getting rid of Soboslai at right back. I'm going to keep him in. Let me just keep an eye out on the chat. Bradley here. If you're removing McAllister, are you removing McAllister? Sobo on the right, Jones on the left. So how would this work off the ball? The only problem you have off the ball is Soboslai is playing on the right hand side. Naturally, if you're going to go into a 4-4-2, Jones would come here, Sobos would come here, and Wirtz, where are you going to play him from the number 10? You're going to have a double pivot of Wirtz and Gravenberch. If you're going to have it from here, Jones coming from here and there, coming from left wing on paper, and then coming to number 10 positions, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Because you would want Jones to be part of the double pivot off the ball, wouldn't you? And then you'd want Wirtz coming here. I just don't think you have that. Naturally speaking, with your number 10, with the freedom comes from being in the number 10, starting in the number 10, but you've got a 4-3-3. A 4-3-3. We'll leave Isak here. Where's Salah? Where's Salah? So Salah here. And then off the ball, if we got, actually, we've got a Gakpo on here. So there we are. Then your number 10 needs to have the freedom of this space here, Ash. Here. And then off the ball, this is the structure. This is what I think Liverpool need to go to. Gakpo, he's been used in these sort of areas, but this is the big problem here. I don't think Liverpool are utilizing the 4-2-4. Yes, it's a trade-off. I get what people are saying. We used it last year. I get what people are saying. But at the moment, we're not feeding the ball to Salah enough. So why are we taking risks? And I believe it probably works against teams that are probably position number 10 and lower in the Premier League. It works. But at the moment, on the big day, and we play some good teams, that ball's not even coming to Salah enough. So we're not getting him involved. So all your trade-off is based on just getting the ball, higher up in this. How many times have Liverpool won the ball on a consistent basis throughout a match, higher up the pitch to get Salah in this position where I'm just going to use Szoboszlai here, where Kukurea or I don't know how many other or who was the Mitchell, even though that was a back five, is here. We win the ball, and Mitchell is out of position because Salah is on the edge of the box. And even though they still got three centre backs, Crystal Palace, but the message is still the same, where Salah is winning the ball in a position where he can hurt the opposition. So I just don't feel that Liverpool are getting them involved in. So at the moment, especially on the big day, Liverpool have to drop Salah here, Gakpo here, and it's a mid block of a 4-4-2. And what Liverpool also need to do is, let me check. So what's lie? What also Liverpool need to do is have a look at. I'm writing a little thread on the 2+1 on the extra man in the back line, which is causing Liverpool issues. It caused Liverpool issues. Go have a look at the Liverpool goal on the weekend against Chelsea. Although that was a complete shambles where Kukurea lost Salah and he came into midfield. I'm going to lose Isak here. And he came into midfield. Gusto was coming here, and the spare man was created. But Ibu was, I think he's realised too late. Arnie Slot shouted, and I'm sure it sounded like Arnie Slot. He said Ibu. I don't know if anyone realised, and I think he wanted him to either pick up Kukurea or push out to Caicedo, but it was too late. The attack was too, advanced at that stage. Ibu probably didn't even hear the call, and then Van Dijk backed off. Liverpool backed off as a team, and you all know what happened later on. Hussein says, "I heard it," and that is one of the problems that Liverpool are having. If 2-1 against this 2+1 in the back line, he wants the extra security. He thinks if Liverpool get beaten in their 4-2-4, which this is the idea is, if teams are building up in a 3, then Liverpool have got an extra man here in the forward positions. Let me just get that 4-2-4. There we are. So we've seen this where Gakpo sometimes travels here. We've seen the 4-3-3 as well. And Diaz was doing it second half of PSG bigger games when the right back is aggressive as well. But teams are always targeted this area. So this is what Liverpool need to do. And the irony is next week, where Liverpool will be faced with a 3-2 build-up. I don't know which centre-backs are going to be playing here for Man United, but it'll be something like Maguire, Euro, Shaw, or it doesn't matter. I do know he changes a lot, and it doesn't matter how bad the United team is. They will have 3 in the back line, and they'll have their full-backs. I'm going to use Isak here. I'm going to use Gomez here. So that's going to be someone like a Dogu and a Dalot or a Ahmad, depending on how brave he is on the day. And if you're going to be Liverpool, Gravenberch is Salah, for example. Where is Salah going to go? Are you going to give him the option here as the 4-2-4 and keep him here and we win the ball? But I believe one of the main reasons why United played well at Anfield last year is because it was too easy for them and they played in the 3-2-5. Generally speaking, Liverpool and Arne Slot's team have struggled with 3-2-5. Maresca has coached him on a couple of occasions. Last year, I thought Chelsea, especially in the first half and second half, were probably the better team. Arne Slot admitted that many, many times as well. Asim, can you add United on the board? Okay, let's try it. This could go bad, but let's try it. Select team. Premier League. Man United. 3-4-3. Okay. God knows how that's turned up. Who the hell's Martin? Who the hell is Martin? Let me add some players here. It's got Hoyland in here as well. Mbemo, Shesko, Shaw, Dogu. Right, let's try to add some players. Bayandir, Malacia, bloody hell. Shaw, let's say Shaw is going to be the player. Martinez, no, we'll go with these 3. There we are. Maguire, we'll have Maguire as a centre back. And we'll face it up with Liverpool's 4-2-4. Dalot. Who the hell is Martin? I need a striker. I need a striker, people. Mbemo. Mazarabi can go. And there we are. And then we need another. Who's going to play in the Casemiro? Probably, people. Is Casemiro going to play? Ugarte. We'll put back Casemiro in. I can't see Ugarte in here. I knew this would. There we are. So there's the 3-2-5. There's the box midfield. And we're missing Dogu, aren't we? Where's Dogu? There. Cunha up top. There we are. So now we need to sort out Liverpool's. Let's say Soboslai is playing. This is who said to me here. This is all your fault. You better be patient now. So there's Liverpool's 4-2-4. Okay. So Mount in the number 10. There we are. There's their box midfield. Verts in the number 10. Isak. So Gakpo is going to be here. Verts here. Isak and Salah. Now, what do you make Liverpool do? Press in the 4-2-4 and, think, okay, we've got 4 players, you've got 3 players in your build-up, and we're going to win the ball off you. We'll get really tight on these 2 midfielders. We'll block the passing lanes. But I feel like Liverpool's press, especially down the channels, and Salah is not he hasn't got the legs to press as what we saw in Bobby and Mane. It was all about Bobby and Mane, even in those days when Salah was 25 and his peak of his career. So if you want him here pressing Shaw, I fancy Liverpool. Here and that triangle here. And what also if Casemiro is here, what also happened last year was Fernandez came here as well. So they tried to stretch and ask the question of Gravenberch. And I took so many, because I was sat on the halfway line. I took so many, I can remember now, so many. And I think their first goal came like that as well, where Gravenberch was confused. What does he do? Because as the attack developed, he had the left back Fernandez, they had Shaw, and then they had I think who's the number 10? Fernandez was on the number 10, so I can't use him again. But this is what they had: Liverpool, and then one of the double pivots came here, and they had overloads on this right on this side, and we had the famous goal of Trent not tracking players. But the philosophy of Man United that day is with the left-sided overloads for Liverpool, and that is the reason why I want Liverpool, I want Slot to sacrifice this, because I think their 3-2-5, their 2 fullbacks will be easily found, and they'll probably use the Fernandez and the number 10 coming here, Casemiro coming here, because Liverpool's 2 will be asked the question: are you going to vacate central space, or are you going to go man to man and come here? And what do you want to do? All teams don't want teams progressing down the central channels. And that day, Gravenberch was really, really confused. But what Liverpool should do is, generally speaking, I think Salah should be given that option to go man to man. And we go man to man, we go Bradley on Dogu. We get really, really aggressive with them. And then if they will still have Fernandez, but if it's man to man and we need to shuffle across, it's fine. And then if you lose your battles, that is the problem. Van Dijk needs to come out. Kanate needs to move across, and Bradley needs to go and show. And then Salah goes on one of the centre backs. This is what we need to do: is we go 4-4-2. And I'm just gonna remove Man United. Actually, you know what? I'll move Liverpool in a 4-4-2 here. Kanate here. Bradley here. Soboslai. Verts in the 10. Salah. There we are. So if it means Salah, I'll move across. Fernandez here. I want Liverpool to, if they have to sacrifice a bit of pressure, a bit of, there we are. If they have to sacrifice and bring Man United up the pitch here, then so be it. Because I feel Man United, as bad as they are, their 3-2-5, it'll still be good enough. And we saw it last year as well. For sure. Let me just get an no. There we are. Forget it. No, I'm trying to do a few arrows. But you get the idea. If Liverpool have to sacrifice a bit and go into a 4-4-2 mid block, then so be it. We have to make sure, and we'll trigger trigger the pressing triggers elsewhere further up the pitch. Sometimes you have to give a bit more respect to the opposition. We know Man United are shy. Either go man to man straight away, or do this, or do this. Whereas Arsenal do, they transition. They're probably the best team in the world to transition from a 4-4-2 and then go man to man all over the pitch. We have to do it in making sure Van Dijk and Kanate do not have the responsibility of both of them on one striker, because that's where good teams are going to take advantage of you. Pick our moments, 100%, 100%. Let's go back to the StreamYard. There's still 125 of you here, people. You probably bored to death. 20 people have already probably fell asleep. So those who have fell asleep, wake up, smash a like. Those who are still watching, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It's 8:30 on a Tuesday evening, and I'm talking Liverpool in an international break. So hope you appreciate it. Emmy, thank you so much for your super chat, Emmy. Always supporting the channel. Asim, I keep saying we need to play 3-4-2. Or 3-4-1-2. Most of our players are familiar with this. Dutch team use it, also protects the middle. I don't think we're there yet, Emmy. I just don't think. I think the 3-4-2-1 has its benefits. The 3-4-3, I think it's suboptimal. I think it is. It's got good foundations in build-up, and that's why. And it's got the diagonal. That's why we struggled with the 4-2-4 press last year against Man United at Anfield, because they had an out ball all the time. That is if you got an extra man in the back line, it's an out ball. And when coaches come to teams, when they're trying to sort the defense out, they go to a back five, a back three. And obviously you have to have those wing backs. But you also have to have those two midfielders in the middle of the park to be a Gini Wijnaldum. Because you have to have legs, and that's one of the reasons why Man United fans are really, really complaining with the fact that Bruno Fernandes is just not that midfielder. Ugarte has got the legs, but he hasn't got the progressive nature about him as well. So I'm not there yet. I think the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1, that is the best formation for Liverpool. And then Arne Slot's foundations of the 3-2-5, the 3-1-6, the 2-2-6. We've seen all last season. We have to caveat everything. Liverpool have got their problems, but one, they've still got really good players, and I'm sure we can tweak the out of possession structure, which I hope we do next week. But I'm not there yet at the moment, Emmy, where we switch systems completely. Another super chat from Emmy again. Thank you so much. Big up. Kukurea statement about attacking the right hand side is damning and should make any manager upset. As its player is saying this, we shouldn't play Soboslai right back. 100%. Look, we've talked about that risk and reward. And the people that don't realize, I think there's an important point. I was thinking about it during the day and I forgot about to mention it. This in the last hour and 18 minutes is when you talk about the trade-off of Salah staying in a high position, and even against a quality side like Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, traditionally, especially in recent times, we haven't won there for a couple of seasons, a lot of draws on the last five occasions, but they've got really good players, and Kukurea is one of the best fullbacks in the country. But when you tell Salah to stay there, you forget who was the right back in the previous years. When we lost the ball, Trent, as you can say, he was a bad defender, but the reason why Jurgen Klopp used to tell him not to fully track that player who was overlapping him, or in transition, you saw Trent jogging back. But it was a lot down to instruction as well. I get it. It was down to appetite in wanting to defend as well. But some of it was, or a lot of it was down to instruction as well, where Konate had the confidence and the trust of him mopping up and winning that ball and getting, or having, Pep Linder's talked about it a lot, having Trent on the edge of the box. So in terms of our structure, the moment we won the ball, needed Trent to be on the edge of the box. Why? He needed to play that pass. If it meant it'd be a 50-yard ball to over the top to Salah, a 60-yard ping over to Mane or Gakpo over recent years, or Diaz, Trent was there. But now we don't have that player. We don't have that player. You could say Szoboszlai is decent at it, if I'm being kind, but Frimpong can't do it. Bradley can't do it. They all, bar from Szoboszlai, action type of fullbacks. So what does it mean is you have to make sure to get Salah involved and on the ball, is you have to risk that right back to go into places where we don't really want them to go, even on a good occasion. Why? Is because the moment we lose the ball, we've lost Salah higher up the pitch because he's not tracking the man, and we've lost that right back who's top of the box. So that's why you've seen Konate and Van Dijk get really, really exposed. So not having that player on from the right back position, it loses the ability to beat teams who are in a low block, but it also harms you in transition as well, in attacking transitions and defensive transitions as well, where if we win the ball, we don't have that right back to play on the edge of the box, and we lose the ball, we're overcommitting because he doesn't have the ball into midfield. And that is the reason why Emi says we shouldn't play Szoboszlai at right back. But when we're faced with aggressive presses, we need that ball into midfield. And Sobo, to be fair to him, is not great at it, but he's a lot better at it than Frimpong and Conor Bradley. So one of the reasons why, and I said, why didn't we see, different versions of our back line for many, many years? In Trent, in Robertson, in Van Dijk, in Matip, in Konate, is because you could play that week in, week out against an aggressive press, against a low block. It did everything. You had the intensity and the pace of the flying fullbacks in Trent and Robertson. You had the two centre backs who could sit on the halfway line, who had the recovery pace, and even good Joe Gomez in 2019 when we won the league. And they could, mop up balls and pin in the opposition. You could have Trent coming into midfield later on in his Liverpool career. So it bought everything. And the reason why Liverpool are chopping and changing is because we don't have a back line for a week in, week out type of scenario. So that's why I keep talking about Liverpool's on-the-ball structure in the defensive line is more down to personnel rather than structure. So I think we really miss that player on both sides, believe it or not, in possession and out of possession as well. Asim, this is making me sad. This is not therapy. If I'm honest, this is why I don't see a short term. I gave you the option of Joe Gomez at right back. I believe it brings us more security. I gave you in the last show, some people have been mentioning Curtis Jones. I think that works as well. But you do lose. Nothing's perfect. Curtis Jones will connect with the number 6, whether it's a single pivot, a double pivot. He has the ball controlling, ball retention type of skills, and he'll connect with the number 6 a lot more. But what you won't do, as well as Szoboszlai and Bradley, Frimpong as well, probably as well, is that 1v1 defending. And we probably sacrifice that more with Trent, is because he was such a unicorn on the ball. So on the big day, it doesn't matter who you come up against, whether it's a Vinicius or a Mbappe or a Leroy Sané in his career. I watched Trent against Leroy Sané when we won 3-0. I was at the ground in the Champions League tie. I thought, and even when we played PSG later on, or was in the same season, I can't remember, Trent marked Mbappe really, really well. And he was a different type of player. He's a young kid. He had a lot more intensity. He didn't have the muscle that he developed later on in his Liverpool career. But that is the difference. The elite teams have the players for every single situation, and you can come up against great wingers. But if you've got the technical quality, they can't hurt you if you keep the ball. Simple as. Actually saying, making me sad, and the back line was incredible. Leighton, get your questions in, people. I think that I've covered most things that I wanted to cover. If you've got any questions, let me know. I've covered all the super chats. I want to do a show for about 40-50 minutes. I'm bloody starving, absolutely starving. Yeah, look, are you kidding me? Trent was the one who made us lose Champions League final, but yeah, he switched off at the back post. 100%. But earlier on, just see who was, pressing like a headless chicken on the other side. It was Robbo. So, yes, we do know he had deficiencies, but you can't tell me over the years we had a lot more rewards playing Trent at right back than his deficiencies bought us losing games. I just don't agree. I don't agree with that. Yeah, exactly, Husnain. He got us there as well. 100%. When was the last time we hit a diagonal? This is what I talk about Liverpool being too predictable at the moment. Here's another option. Here's another problem that Liverpool had. I've talked about Liverpool have got a natural problem, not a natural problem, a problem even last year when Salah was unbelievable. We were crying out for someone, a proper winger, to beat a man on the outside. But Liverpool got away with it is because, one, Salah had an all-timer season, and also the fact that we were feeding him. We were feeding him on that. How many times do we see a situation of that Brighton goal in the second half, that winner against Brighton? I think Salah points to it as a monumental point or situation in the season, where he said, look, I thought, something's happening here, even though it was quite early in the season. But I'm not talking about that situation, in terms of importance of getting the win. I'm talking about the importance of that dynamic where we're feeding him. But at the moment, we're not winning the ball enough in those areas. In settled play, we're not finding the midfielders enough to feed those players. And teams are the most important. And another, you guys are saying I'm making you sad. What makes me sad is, at the moment, I feel like Arne Slot is taking more risks on the 55th minute, and that's the proof, is he's seeing the situation where teams are sitting off on the halfway line and saying, can you beat us through a settled situation? Have you got the technical footballers in your back line to pass it around us that are two up top, and we're going to sit off and you find your creators? But at the moment, those creators are coming in no man's land to aid that build-up and find the extra man, whether it's Isak coming from the 9 position, whether it's Florian Wirtz coming from the number 10 position. And at the moment, Liverpool don't have those qualities in the back line. So what's happening in the thought process of Arne Slot is, I have to put Ryan Gravenberch out of midfield and put him in defence. And I'm going to take that risk. He's a lot better on the ball. He can carry it into midfield. But I'm compromising the aerial duels and the natural physicality of a proper centre-back in that position. But I feel like that is Liverpool's best chance on the big day at the moment. I really believe that, especially away from home where teams are a bit more aggressive. I feel that, and that is one of the reasons why Liverpool have looked better when they've put someone like Gravenberch in midfield, in the centre-back position. But what it's also creating is stretching the game. It's stretching the game. One, because you're not going to probably win the first ball, so you have to deal with the second ball in midfield. If you don't win the second ball, you've got a defense, a transition to deal with. You've got set pieces to deal with. You rather have Kanate on a set piece than Gravenberch. If you get really aggressive in the press when you're chasing a game, Arne Slot starts pressing in man-to-man, and Gravenberch has to mark a proper big lad where he's probably not going to win that duel against Mateta or anybody else playing there. So that is the risk that Arne Slot is taking. And for him to take it on the 55th minute and stretch the game and take that risk, it is concerning. It's concerning. And I said it's brave as well. But yeah, in isolation, to make that call on the 55th minute, regardless of the niggle. And we've seen him do it against 10 men against Fulham last season. But I just feel like that's his thought process, where good teams are, look, Liverpool are going to win a team 4-0 on occasions, many occasions. I really believe that. But I don't think we can beat someone like Chelsea and Arsenal and Newcastle at the moment with these sort of tactics and structures as well. Liverpool will generally get better. And what's killing us at the moment in controlling games is the form and the fitness of McAllister as well. So there's the tempo setter that we have. He's not on form. He's showing his lack of legs. And the lack of legs have been even more exposed because we've got Florian Wirtz pressing from the front. He's not a Szoboszlai who protected McAllister. We've got so many fires, and that is one of the biggest problem. We're sitting. I'm sat here like we're 18th. We're not. We're still a good team, and we'll beat teams convincingly this season. But you can't deny that these issues are there and been here for a long time, and that is the problem Liverpool have. How many fires are they trying to put out? And that is another reason why Szoboszlai has been seen in many positions. Is one, the technical level of the right back; two, the lack of legs in midfield and the physicality of McAllister; three, the lack of physicality of Florian Wirtz on days where you faced an Everton and are facing a Chelsea away where Wirtz is on the bench. So, people are saying Dominic Szoboszlai has been shoehorned in the team. I don't believe that. I believe he's trying to put out fires himself, where we probably need a couple of Dominic Szoboszlais at the moment, rather than him being shoehorned in the team. Can we talk about Gakpo, for fuck's sake? What do you want me to say about Gakpo? I've always said he's a good player. He's not elite. He's a good player. He's never going to be world class. I don't think he's got a world class ceiling. He has struggled to go on the outside of a player many occasions. I said that a long time ago, and it's been exposed now. I always liked the idea of Gakpo and Diaz working as a duo rather than just Gakpo or just Diaz, because I believe Diaz is, when we've got settled environments, especially at Anfield, when we've got McAllister on form, getting involved and feeding Cody Gakpo those positions where he can come inside. It's a predictable phase of play of Cody Gakpo coming inside, but he's very good at it. You have to say that. And especially at Anfield, when we've got teams pinned in, especially in transition as well, he is a good finisher of an attack where he comes off that touchline and is one of the best ball strikers in the league, never mind Liverpool. But in situations where we faced a good low block, in situations where we come up against a back five in Crystal Palace, where you're needing to work in tight spaces, where you needed to drop a shoulder and go on the outside, has he got that pace? It feels like he needs 2-3 gears to shift until he really gets going. And once he gets going, he's hard to stop. But he is that type of player who doesn't connect in tight spaces as well. And how many times have we seen Kirkes make really good runs and he doesn't get the ball? He just doesn't get the ball. So his connecting in play, his general interplay is not great. And when he's not getting the ball, look, you have to say he's not been getting the ball as well. Generally speaking, just like Wirtz and Isak and Salah, Liverpool have struggled to find those players in general play. And we're not scoring a lot of goals since the back end of last season in open play. And Gakpo has seen or has been the victim of that as well. So we have to be fair when we talk about our attackers. Gakpo is being starved of it as well. But when you're facing and when you're suffering as well off the ball in big games, I have always said that you will one day, if Dominic Szoboszlai is not playing and we're faced in a big game type of situation, you will appreciate him more. Those guys who wanted more output from Luis Diaz, he falls on the floor, he's not good enough. He's not the false nine, which wasn't his fault. He found himself in that position not because of anything else, but the guys who were playing in that position either couldn't stay fit or in Nunes wasn't good enough. But you can't deny the pressing qualities, the mentality of Luis Diaz. And I've always said that Liverpool have not replaced his profile. And I always said, and I remain consistent, that I felt Liverpool are short in that. If you've got, and you're giving us the narrative of we don't want to block the pathway of someone like Rio, then put him in the squad. Put him in the squad. Are you going to go with Cody Gakpo every single week in, week out, home and away? Is he good enough? Is he consistent enough? We've just talked about the deficiencies of the right back in Bradley, in Szoboszlai, and why we're chopping and changing in that area. Then why have you played Florian Wirtz from the left on some occasions? Why is Cody Gakpo struggling? Because we've always knew he's a good player, but he needs to be given those environments. He's not going to go into deep areas and carry you on a consistent over a season and carry you up that pitch. He's just not going to do it. And on the ball, off the ball awareness, Luis Diaz is, I'm telling you, 50% of the time when Arne Slot turned around to his bench last season, it was because he was complimenting and talking about or showing an expression, whether it's through his mouth or through his body language, was how Lucho pressed. Home and away. I'm telling you now, because he just couldn't believe his energy. And people just don't see that side of football. They just don't appreciate the physicality. And if you want to cheat with on the other side with Salah, which I don't mind at times, then you need someone like Luis Diaz playing in left back positions. We saw it in the second half against PSG, practically playing as a left back. And making sure Hakimi is not the extra man in the last line. But he's got the awareness, he's got the appetite to do it as well. And although Cody Gakpo in his defense has become better, but he's not a natural touchline winger. He's not a natural carrier of the ball as well as Luis Diaz, and he doesn't have the mentality of Luis Diaz. And I'm telling you now, a lot of the times when Liverpool was struggling home and away, when Luis Diaz was playing, he would come into those areas. And I've always compared him. He's not a Sadio Mane, but that trait of saying, I'm showing to feet, we're really struggling in this game, I will make sure Liverpool keep the ball for 5 minutes and I recycle play. And he was really, really good at that. Recycling play. Sometimes he'll go absolute crazy on a mazy run where he'd come off the touchline and end up in a right wing position. Yeah, that's the extreme. It would be the extreme. But that trait, I'm telling you now, is very, very underestimated. And we are desperately missing him off the ball. And if you're going to have the luxury of Salah cheating in inverted commas, you've got another number 9 as a focal point in Isak, who you want to stay around in and around the box, because although he's a brilliant facilitator as well, and he'll give the natural license, but against teams where you need to have more of a guy on the shoulder rather than floating around, you do miss Luis Diaz. And he was a brilliant connector. And on that side of McAllister, we just talked about the lack of legs in McAllister and how Florian Wirtz, I believe, is missing someone like Luis Diaz as well. I genuinely believe it would have given McAllister on the left-hand side a bit more protection with Diaz tucking in or getting back. And it would also give a bit more license for the number 10 to float around and get that space and freedom. This perfectly sums it up. He was a street footballer and a warrior. And I was talking about Sadio Mane. How many times you go watch games when we're struggling? who was coming to the halfway line demanding the ball? It was Sadio Mane. That was a winning mentality of Sadio Mane. Okay, people, I think I've been going long enough. 1 hour, 40 minutes. Wow. I did not intend to go 1 hour, 40 minutes. Yeah, 100%. This was the player, man. This was the player. On the ball, off the ball, mentality, showing to feet. That's him. Messi, there's a player we could do with. Thank you so much. Ooh, good question. Good question. Although I'm not as confident, I'm going to back my team right now. I'm going to back my team right now. Thank you very much for the super chat. Ash, it's Margehi was a massive mistake. I've talked about it. I tweeted that it will be. I think for Liverpool, one of the biggest mistakes that Liverpool have made in recent times. We didn't need Margehi, the defender. We didn't need him because I believe that we needed him more for his on-the-ball quality is because we lost a unicorn at right back on the ball. And this is the reason why Arne Slot is talking about the right-sided centre-back is getting a lot more the ball. That's one of the reasons why. If we don't have a technical, cultured right-sided centre-back, and we don't have a right back of that mould as well, then are you surprised why our build-up is laughable at times? And because that's what it is. It's laughable. And in response to your question, if you're going to build up like that, Ash, you have to say, look, Kirkes could develop in a really good footballer. Bradley could develop into a really good footballer in terms of having phase one qualities. But at the moment, they don't have it. And they're young and they develop into really good players. But in this system, in this structure, you have to look at some of the profiles that we have bought. Do we need a Kirkes type of? Because what Arne Slot is a big what's a believer of. He wants that left back to stay and have the legs to join and be the fifth or sixth attacker later on in phase 2 and phase 3. But Kirkes can be that in the phase 2. He can be that in phase 3. But he's not that in phase 1. So at the moment, do you need someone like a Nkapie? Do you need someone like a Calafiori even? Timber is the complete one. I believe he's good in any phase of attack. He's such a good technical footballer. He's a dueler. He's got strength. He's got pace, and he's got a delivery as well. And I think he's a brilliant fullback, left or right. But yeah, in the fullbacks, our profiling it can be seen as questionable, and 100%, you're right. In saying that, Ash. Okay, people, I'm going to leave it there. 1 hour 43. The least I deserve is a like. I think you'd agree. Even if there's some haters in here, even if there will be, there's plenty of haters who spy on what we're doing and what we're talking about. They like to give us a lot of shit, but they like to take a bit of our content as well and a few ideas as to what is wrong with Liverpool, and we'll mention it in their own pods. But yeah, even if you're a hater, please smash a like and subscribe to the channel as well. So if you want to make a few ideas, then we come on your YouTube timeline as well. Ash, 100%. I don't even know how many likes we've got, but please smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more. Gene and Avi will be back with a completely different type of show. I might even join them. Ben might join us. I think we do need a full panel show very, very soon. Very, very soon. Husnain is saying Monday night. Thank you very much. Okay. Some people will find this sort of stuff boring. I understand it. But, we're here to provide different type of content. And some people will like it. And there's many who stuck around for the full 1 hour, 44 minutes. and I really, really appreciate that. The reason I keep on, and I'll mention it on every show, I like doing these live shows is because I like taking your questions. There's nothing better, what I find enjoyable in terms of enjoyment, that taking your questions and answering them, and giving myself and yourself a bit more clarity on the situation as well. On pre-recorded shows, yeah, they're quicker. I can quickly bang out a few bullet points, but I don't get that enjoyment of a live show, of a live question coming in. And like Buddy says, is good. We need to chat. Okay, people, we'll catch you on the next one. Like I said, we'll probably be a full panel one tomorrow around about 10 o'clock on the Wednesday night. It'll be a full debrief. But until then, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Peace and love, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, people, and have a good night. Bye for now.